What's your definition of a gangster, bro?
I can't even tell you because I don't even see myself as a gangster. I can't even tell you what a gangster is. Cause I don't call myself gangster. I don't go by no fucking gangster.
Yeah.
My mama wouldn't even respect me for saying I'm a gangster. Like, that wasn't what I was raised to be. It just so happened this is what I got drugged into.
It's easier to just be careless and not doing shit and just doing bad shit. Like bad shit, easy to do than good shit. You know what I'm saying?
Was it ever a money thing for you?
Like, nah, it was just fun, really, like, excitement being bad.
Yo, what's up, people? We is back. Another day on Keep It G News, man. And I know y'all see the title. Y'all probably wondering, what is Keep It G talking about? Alright, so, I'm gonna explain it to y'all. What y'all just saying was two interviews that Kshordy did and King Von did. One from Dirty Glove Bastard and the other from DJ Small Eyes. So, let me explain to y'all how all this played out. It's a video I seen to Kshordy, right? And he catching his time. And I'm gonna play that video for y'all at the end. And I'm gonna tie it all in together into what I'm trying to get y'all to see, right? And as I'm watching that video, because at the time I didn't know nothing about Kshordy. You feel me? Nothing at all. But as I'm listening to the video and I'm watching what he's saying to the judge, I start looking more into Shorty. You feel me? Cause I wanted to know more about him, like what type of guy was he? Because that's not something you normally see. You know, most people, most young kids anyway, is just gonna take their lick. They ain't got nothing to say to the judge because they want to go out like a gangster. You understand? They don't want to seem apologetic or soft when they catching their time, because more than likely, it don't matter what you say to the judge anyway. They gonna get you what they gonna get you. So I started looking more into him, and I started running across his interviews, and that's when I ran across the interview with Dirty Glove Bastard. And I'm like, dang, yo, I like Shorty. You know? I like how he think, I like his mind. Then I start relating him to King Von. I'm like, yo, there's some similarities there. But even though there's some similarities, there's one key difference. And I'm going to highlight that for y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Then I got to think about this video I did a couple days ago about teens killing teens. And I said some things in that video that Kshordy basically, you know, or stamped by the way he was answering questions and what he said, as well as King Von. So that's what I said. I'm going to tie all of this in to everything. It's going to be crazy. So y'all going to have to watch it from start to finish, because you might be lost if you know a lot of people like to skip through the videos. If you skip through this one, you're gonna miss everything I'm talking about. And it's interesting. You understand? So, Kshordy was just sentenced to 12 years, right? And that video I did the other day about the teens, I talked about how they never take into consideration these kids, these juveniles, these young black males, you know, 25 and under. They never take into consideration their upbringing. You know, they never take into consideration things that they're seeing with their eyes. You know, it's like they don't care about none of that. Even though all of that matters, because all of those type of things play in the decision making. You know, a lot of our people was traumatized at a very young age. And you're going to hear that from King Von and also Kshordy. You know, that's the connection. Their lives are very similar, even though they come from two separate places in the United States. You talking about Chicago and Jacksonville. I don't know how far that is in mileage, but I would suggest that I would think that it's at least 18-hour drive, 19-hour drive, 20 hours. It's a long ride. So for these guys with two completely different backgrounds, sharing these certain qualities, it's different. It's wild to me, you know? And it goes into what I was saying about these youths and these young kids growing up, because I was one of them, so I can relate to everything that they're saying. And I want to relate that to y'all. So before I want to show y'all some of the things that Kshordy went through.
got a hit and I be from the stove. I gotta go, ain't finna down no drill. I'ma just let them die slow. I'm getting low, I wasn't moving too fast. I'm shot, ain't know where to go. Aw shit, how the fuck I drop my blade? I'm losing blood and shit. They still shooting, now I'm caught to the bushes, laying in bullshit.
Gunfire erupts inside a Northwest Side apartment complex. It leaves this 16-year-old dead. Neighbors say that the shooting sounded like a war zone.
60 to 70 rounds had to be dropped in the course of maybe 15 seconds.
And while police have not released the victim's name, sources tell us it's Adrian Gaynor Jr. Here tonight, a girl was gunned down. Police make 2 arrests in her murder. 21-year-old Roland Ball and 16-year-old Xavion Porter are charged in connection with her killing. 17-year-old Nandi Weish was a cheerleader who attended, or planned, that is, to attend Florida A&M University. News 4 Jax reporter Marilyn Parker is joining us live outside police headquarters in Maryland. We just learned this shooting was a retaliation.
Yes, we've just been going through the reports here within the last 10 minutes. And what we learned is that 2 nights before Nandi Weish was killed, there was another murder. This is on March 17th. And this is all within blocks between each other. We're told in the report that Ball was identified as one of the people who killed her. And it was in retaliation for who she was with at the time of the shooting. It was all payback. And again, both murders happened just blocks away from one another. 10 months and multiple tips later, JSO arrested 2 men in connection with the murder of 17-year-old Nandi Weish. She was killed in a shooting in March of 2020 when police say 2 men pulled in front of Weish's car, got out, and opened fire. Her family believes she was not the intended target.
Now, the reason why I played that music video in the beginning is because the prosecutors are alleging that that's him explaining the incident when he got arrested for the gun. You know, they said it was an alleged shootout. He got shot. He dropped the gun, which was an AK-47. He ended up getting charged for it. So that's what he essentially caught the 12-year bit for. Now, this next clip I'm ready to show y'all is going to be a collaboration between Kshordy and King Von. And I want y'all to pay attention to something. Because like I said, these guys are similar. You know, they both been through a lot. And in my previous videos, I explained to y'all how it's a new phenomenon when you got rappers flaming out. You know, they start off hot and they flame out fast. You know, whether they get caught in the streets or end up dead. Now, between these guys, you see both their lives went in 2 separate directions, even though they came up similar.
And it's easier to just be careless and not doing shit and just doing bad shit, like bad shit. Easy to do than good shit, you know what I'm saying?
Was it ever a money thing for you?
Like, nah, it was just fun, really, like, excitement being bad.
I was wilding. When I turned 14, though, it was cracking. Like,
True.
I ain't know. See, my homeboy Kenny, his name Kenny Caps, he locked up right now. Faces charges. He been in there for a couple of years. I ain't gonna lie, he was like 13, I was 14. And he was younger than me, but he introduced me to everything. And I was like, how you know all this? You younger than me, like, you know the game, and you know how to move out here, and you doing this and this and that. But when people growing up around that and seeing that every day, it's like, they adapt to that. They feel like this is the way you're supposed to live, and like, there's no other way around it. Like, this is what you're supposed to do out here, like, to survive. Not having no, like, he ain't really have no, I won't say he ain't have no father figure. He was just so bad to the point that he didn't even want one. Like, and then he was just out here doing whatever. He listened to himself because he felt like, you know, growing up as a kid, like.
What age did this happen when it first started?
I got charged with it when I was 19, 2014. When I was 19 years old, and they let me out when I was like, what, 23.
So you were locked up for 3-4 years.
At that time, 3.5 years. But before that, you know, I was locked up for 15 months. And then before that, 14 months. Just really my whole teenager, like to young adult.
But these 3.5, they didn't give a bond?
No bond, none of that shit.
Did they say why you weren't given a bond? Was it because maybe you had a criminal past?
Yeah, gang ties and criminal past and shit like that. Just, you know, it's certain people, like once they get you in there, they ain't gonna play with you. Like, it's certain people, like, they catch you, you gonna be in that bitch.
So they send you, what county was this?
What county? Cook County.
Cook County.
You know, the North Side's got that reputation, man, as being one of the hardest places to grow up at, even just to survive, man. So what was that like, you know, just growing up in that type of environment?
Risky. Risky, boy. That's, if it had to be one word, that's what I'd say, risky. Cause you don't never know, like you gotta like know what you're doing out here. You can't just be out here running around with no purpose, cause you gonna get caught up. And it might not even be purposely, but everybody out here got a purpose. So if you just out here with no purpose, you gonna run into somebody who out here with a purpose. See what I'm saying? Like something like that. Yeah. And it's gonna hit you hard. You might not recover from it. So like, you gotta have a purpose out here. You can't just be around here just living life thinking this game.
How big was gang activity back then?
The same as it is now. Big, that's it, you know?
You joined one?
No, I ain't joined one. It's just like, since I'm over here, you see what I'm saying? You is where you at. Like if you would have grew up, if you would have been born where I'm at, you would have had to be gang bang. Just because that's what it is. Or you ain't going outside.
Mm.
Either way, you're going to do something.
I see. Now, when you started going to jail, we're talking juvenile.
Yeah, juvenile, yeah.
What were some of the things that you got in trouble for?
They locked me up for a robbery, armed robbery, and armed carjacking. They say I robbed somebody to their car.
This is something you were able to beat back then?
Right, they dropped the charges. They dropped most of them and gave me, let me go for boot camp. I was too young to even know what the fuck was going on. I just wanted to get out of jail, so give me boot camp. I took that shit and got out.
I be trying to keep my circle small. I gotta remember like who was there for me. At my toughest times, like who was there. Like the niggas I grew up with from, you can't come over here. You too hot, you can't come over here. I'm hurt, I'm shot up, hurt. He ain't nothing. But now, I can't shake none of them niggas like, you know, like that shit be weird to me. Yeah. Can't shake these niggas for nothing. Oh, you ain't real. You getting fame, you changing.
2 times 21. I mean, that's all the fucking years. You see what I'm saying? Because the murder of this by itself, plus the 10 murders, then the gun enhancement law. You see? So I don't know if it go like that or 25, 20, 20, then plus the 21. Man, like 100 something.
And you beat all those charges. You were acquitted.
Yep, I don't play. Yeah.
So, like I told y'all, these guys are very similar. But you see the difference in the way they go about answering these questions, you know? And that's why I wanted to highlight, because it's 2 different type of guys out here that get caught in these streets, especially as young ones. You see what I'm saying? It's the guys that typically, they enjoy it, they love it, you know? It give them a rush. And then you got the other kids, you know? The ones that's kind of trapped in it, you know, they really know better. You feel me? They know better, but they products of their environment, so they just deal with it, you know? But if given the right opportunity, or if they get to the right age, they normally make an exit point. And that is the difference between these 2 guys. You got King Von, who seemed like he enjoy it, you know? He take pride in the gangsterism, which is cool to a certain extent, long as you're ready to accept everything that come with it. Then you got Kshordy, that's like, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing. You know, I really don't like it, but I ain't gonna let nobody play with me either. And that's typical. That's respected. So, in this next clip, like I say, this video was really focused around Kshordy. I want y'all to listen more in depth to the way he answering these questions on Dirty Glove Bastard. And shout out to Dirty Glove Bastard, man. I think, for real, in my opinion, this is probably the best interview I've ever seen. The realism that this boy showed at 20 years old is amazing. You know? The knowledge, the integrity, the wisdom. Like, you don't normally see this in a child. Because that's what he is. At this point, he's still a child. So, check him out.
Something you can get used to, this rapid lifestyle, moving around like that?
Definitely, but like, it's hard though. It's kind of weird getting homesick. Like, I be getting homesick, I ain't gonna lie. Like, just the people, it don't really be the city though, it be the people. Like,
yeah.
Then I be gone for so long. You know, I'm a mama, but my mama call me like every 30 seconds, what you doing?
For real.
What you got going? You good? I'm okay, mom. It's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
I can't be gone for too long, they gonna be calling.
Yeah.
They need me for something.
Yeah.
So I say, I hope it pay off. Hopefully, they ain't gonna ever need for nothing ever again.
Nah, for real. I'm sure your mom's super proud too, man.
Definitely. That's all she wanted from me. Like, something, do something. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing something productive, staying out of trouble.
Absolutely.
Making a killing. As long as you know, when I was going through my little situation, niggas wanted death for me. That's why I say a lot of this shit don't be worth it, cause like, when your ass be fucked up, none of them niggas can't do nothing for you. They in the same predicament you in. Who you expect to bond you out? All y'all broke. You gonna be looking at your mama now like, Mom, what's up? Get me out of here. Your mama ain't got no money like that to be bonding you out. And then you finna come back home and do the same shit. You know, but I'm blessed to have a good mama. My mama gonna do whatever she got to do to get me out of jail. She don't even wanna see me in no type of predicament that I can't handle. She gonna always be there. And I got homeboys. My mama go to every single one of the last one of my homeboys to get $50 if she got to. Whatever she gonna collect, if she ain't got it, she gonna make sure she get some money out of somebody, do something. Now, while I was in jail, I got locked in the county, I had a $150,000 bond.
Whew.
First time going to the county. But my name was so hot, so it was like, oh, we gonna stick him in here real quick. I know he knows something. That's what it really took me to know how important I was to chill out though. Like a couple months ago, everybody like was calling me out my name, and cause I had a little situation with, and I got shot with a girl I was talking to, and she ended up dying. So like everybody turned their back on me then. I couldn't go to my friend's house. Their mama ain't want me around there. I couldn't I was like literally. Like, me and my homeboy, Trey was like he used to let me sleep in his car like it was that he was like not going to work cause he wanted to make sure I was straight. Like he was sleeping in the car with me every day. Whatever we had to do, we was doing it. But at the end of the night, when I ain't had no way to leave my head at, he was always there for me. That's why I say like when I get to the point in life I can take care of whoever I want to, he definitely gonna be one of them people because. And then when it got to the point where he ended up getting fired, and I realized I was holding him back, I was like, I can't. That ain't in me. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be no anchor in your life. So I end up meeting 2-4 brother John Wall. He let me come with him. He took me and his mama. I got out of there. 7 days I was out of there. I don't know how. My mama said, I don't want no money back. All you gotta do is get out here and do right. She say, the rest of whatever you gotta pay, that's on you. I got you up out of there. So ever since then, I took that and ran with it. I took advantage of it.
Is that when you turned to the music or? Okay.
That's when I turned to the music. Right then and there.
What's your relationship like with Julio right now?
It's neutral.
Yeah.
It ain't no animosity, ain't no smoke. It's just like we don't see eye to eye right now. I feel like a lot of shit he could do better than what he doing out here. He can help more people than he helping, and he can affect I feel like he could change a lot of people's lives that's around us. But he just feel like since he came up from nothing, ain't nobody give him shit that he not obligated to do nothing. But at the same time, these niggas out here riding for you every day. Dying for you, bro. You can't do that, bro. Feel me? And the only reason I ain't gonna lie, I never really told nobody what it was or why we into it for real. Cause ain't nobody business, but it ain't that serious to the fact why I can't talk about it. You know, so when I used to be in jail, I used to be on the phone with Baby and shit. He used to be around and he'll get on the phone, he'll be like, what's up, little bro, you good? You good? You need something? I'm like, man, you know you can't send me nothing, man. I'm in the program, man. You can't send me nothing, you feel me? I'm good though, man. You feel me? He like, man, what you wanna do? You get out. I'm like, I'm a rap when I get out. He like, for real, man, shit, I'm gonna put you in the studio, so I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna do that for you. And I ain't never asked you. This is what you told me you was gonna do. So I'm expecting this now when I come home. I come home, ain't nothing. Feel me? I gotta call around for you. I gotta beat your DM down, but when I was in jail, you put my name in the song and shit like that. I really felt like he said my name, got my name, how it left me hanging. You feel me? Like that's how I felt inside. I don't know if it felt like he wasn't doing that, but I ain't asked you to put my name in the song. I ain't asked you to like lie to me. I ain't do none of that. You came to me, you told me this is what you were gonna do for me. So I expected that. So it's like when you lie to me, I'm like, damn, and I got fed up with the shit. I just felt like, I ain't gonna take it there with you, but I'm gonna let it be known what you doing out here. Like you can't be out here putting on this real nigga image if you ain't being real to the people that around you. Like I ain't gonna say everybody around him, but he got his like favorites. He got his people like, but you can't forget what you like told somebody or what you said you gonna do for somebody, especially somebody that you out putting their name out here in hot shit. Like you put my name in songs, so people think when I come home I'm rocking out about you shit. What if a nigga kept my ass at the gate? A lot of the like I turned out buku amount of money all the time, just off my safety. You feel me? Like they might hit me up trying to give me 5 bands for a feature. It sound too good. All money ain't good money. You know, better safe than sorry. Like I feel like the street life is intervening with my money, and I don't really like it that much. I don't like that. So I feel like I wish I would have handled stuff a little more differently than I did.
If you notice the way he answered those questions, yo, everything was based in morals, respect, and honor. You gotta respect the guy that can, deliver it that way. And I think what really hit me the most when it came to Kshordy is how he spoke of his mother, man, and the things that she went through to make sure he got out of jail, because my situation was similar. When I went through that, that's all I had. And I know the struggle of watching your mother make something out of nothing, I had to bail $100,000. I don't know where she got that bread from, but she got it, and basically the same thing she wanted out of me is the same things Kshordy mother wanted out of him, and I respect that, yo, and I respect that he noticed that at 20, because I didn't. It took me to do a whole prison bit to realize, what I had in my corner, and I think that's a lot of our kids' problem. They don't realize what they have in their corner. They think that it's all about your friends, it's all about your homeboys, but in reality, when it all boils down to it, when you're back against the wall, it's only gonna be a few people in your corner, and that's something that you would rather acknowledge sooner than later, because you don't always get a second chance. And I think that might be what we're saying with Kshordy. I don't know if he's going to get this second chance. And that brings me into the video. And the video I did the other day about the teens and what happened with Kshordy when he went to court. Because one of the things I mentioned in that teens killing teens video is when you're young, you first lose your first friend, right? It's going to be like it's a pivotal point. It's like a crossroads. Some people is going to make the right decisions. Normally the ones that got the better home environment, they going to realize like, oh, it's getting too real. I don't think this for me. They're going to start getting jobs. But then the ones that's a little bit more misled than the others, they going to keep going because they think it's time to turn up.
Why they got killed, I seen it. I was right there, still can't believe it. Shit turned me to a demon.
How many homies you lost?
A lot.
What's a lot? Number?
7, 8.
Do you even cry anymore?
It hitting harder, like when I lost my best friend, it hit harder for it hit harder for different motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying?
So what can you tell us about Bibby? Because I don't think everyone knows the name, but not too many people actually know who he was as a person.
He was, I say like, when he got killed, it wasn't for him. Like, and that's just me being real. Like, before he died, a week before he died, I called him on the jail phone, and I see you out there. If you turn, I see you with Fulio, you doing. I'm like, but don't get caught up in that, bro. I was like, you know how bad they want him. They'll get anybody just to hurt him. I'm telling him this, and he's just like, yeah, I know, bro. I be chilling. I don't be on that too much. I just go to the shows and I hang, bro. I don't be on that internet like that. But you done got in the trailers, they know who you is now. You feel me? Like, even if you ain't dissing, you around them, so you're a part of it. And that's how he ended up happening, and it hurt me so bad, because I knew, like, he ain't deserve that. All he wanted to do was hang. Like, he used to look up to Fulio. Like, when we was young, he used to always be like, man, Fulio raw. We used to listen to him growing up. Like, and all he was wanting to be around Fulio. And he, like, I know he didn't know it was going to end up like this. I know he wished he would have listened to me, though.
So in that whole clip, because that was just a portion, I was talking about how juveniles and how they really don't know, not even juveniles, young adults, young black males, you know, they really don't know what they're doing. You know, they out here, they committing crimes, and they don't fully really know the repercussions of the acts that they committing. And that's how they get caught up. You understand? So you hear how these guys, two guys in the streets from two separate areas, very similar though, but you got one that enjoys it, as in King Von. Then you got Kshordy, who just accepted as his reality because he was born in it, you know? And these, both of their cases, it's what's happening in our community. You know, you got some of the kids that love this shit, you know, they enjoy it, you know, they wouldn't want it no other way. And then you got Kshordy, who was willing to make an exit plan, but he might just got caught up. You know, sometimes when you do a little bit too much, and when you really ready to make that change, the past come back. And that brings me into this video I'm ready to play for y'all next, you know, because the video was all over the internet, and it was him explaining to the judge, you know, his life. And as y'all just saying in my other clips I played in the beginning, some of the things he went through, you know, his girlfriend got killed in front of him, you know, and he was the alleged target. Then he got his man Bibby, real close friends. You know, you see how he spoke on Bibby. You know, he didn't think that was deserving of Bibby. She shouldn't have went out like that. Bibby was killed because of his affiliation to Fulio. You know, that's what he's saying. But in his next video, I want y'all to see how he was talking to this judge. They never sit back and look at this child lifestyle, how he was raised, the lack of parenting, the lack of economics, the lack of resources. They never factor none of these things in when they sentencing our kids, but when other kids get sentenced, you know, we done heard it. I done seen a case where a child was too privileged to know better. So if they can make a case for a child being too privileged to know better, how can't they make a case for a child being underprivileged? You understand?
Let me just start by saying I'm grateful to have you as the judge. And the reason is because my previous judge before you told me if I was to lose trial, he probably would give me the max. And I heard good things about you, so I'm praying that that's true. I don't know if you remember before trial, you asked me if I had any questions for you. And then you told me to refer to my lawyer before I asked you, and he told me that wasn't a good idea to ask that question. You know, the question was it true that they call you Send 'em Home Salem? In the jailhouse.
I'm sorry, say what?
In the jailhouse, they call you Send 'em Home Salem.
Send 'em home Salem?
I guess.
Okay.
It's a termination as you send people home a lot. And basically, a lot of people want you as a judge for when it comes to sentencing because they feel like you're fair. And I was kind of like praying that was true. So that's why I said I was grateful to have you as a judge. I don't feel like in your heart that you will sentence me 15 years for possessing of a firearm, and I'm not a convicted felon. I'm not a bad kid. I just grew up around in a neighborhood where it's kind of hard to not be a product of your environment. I seen shootings, killings in front of my eyes. I seen somebody die in front of me at the age of 14. I never told nobody. My friend was killed by the police when I was 16. My stepdad died. He was a good role model for me. He was with my mom for like 15 years. He died. He was keeping me in the right path when my dad was in prison. He was the only father figure I had at the time. And when he died, that's when I got incarcerated. When I was 16, right after my 16th birthday. And just being a follower, trying to ride around in the car I didn't know was stolen. And I wanted to drive it, and it happened to be armed carjacked. And me being young and naive, I thought, oh, I'm not gonna be a snitch, so I'm gonna just take the charge. But I really didn't do it. But the situation with the shooting, I did have a firearm, trying to be cool, thinking that was the way to live, carrying around a gun, being a follower. Even though I wasn't the aggressor that day, and he tried to harm me and take my gun away from me, and it went off. I should never had it. But luckily, I only got 18 months and I got a second chance at life again. When I got out, I was on a good path. I had a job. I was working with my dad. I finished my probation. I was doing everything right. But I was continuing to hang out with the people that I hung out with before I got arrested for my juvenile program. And I guess they were in deep with a lot of people. When I was going away, they created a lot of beef with other people. Strong enough beef to the point where they felt like if anybody close to them that they saw, they would do something to just to harm them. And I was shot. My girlfriend was killed. And it was downhill from there. The same area I was shot and she was killed.
Mr. I don't want to. The only thing I want to say is I know he has an open case and a different division. I don't know where he's going with what he's talking. I'm letting you, Mr. Williams, know letting Mr. Poe know through counsel that he has a right to remain silent regarding that case. And you probably should not talk about that open case, the facts surrounding it. I don't know the facts surrounding that case. He was kind of going in a chronological history order there, and I don't want him to talk about that open case because the state will use it against him to prosecute that case. So I'm letting you know if you need a moment to talk to him so he understands more fully what I'm saying, that's fine. I felt compelled to make that statement to him, considering where he was going with this statement.
Understood. I'll have a brief moment.
Sure.
I think we have an understanding.
Okay, Mr. Poe, you can continue. You were talking about when your girlfriend was shot.
I appreciate you for stopping me, but I wasn't gonna miss anything about the open case.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with it.
Sure. I didn't know anything. I just wanted to say that to be as careful as possible.
Thank you.
I'm not assuming you were or were not. I just wanted to be extra careful.
Oh well. After she was killed and I was shot, life took a toll on me. Everything began to going down here after that. Same area as this incident in this case. I was shot again. And it's kind of crazy because the state said in open court that they knew I was a victim, but then they turned around and said I was the aggressor in trial. Kind of made me feel some type of way. I'm not going to get into that because it's not probably in my best interest, but I can guarantee you that it didn't happen the way you probably think it happened. And I know the song probably just sounded so horrible, but somebody thought it was a good idea for me to use it as a stepping stool instead of looking at it as a downfall. So I used it as a publicity stunt, and it came and backfired against me. It was probably one of the worst decisions I made. But when I get out of here, I can promise you that you will never see me again. If you sentence me to something fair, I will never come back to jail. The friends that I was willing to lose my life behind, and the reason I'm in here, not here for me. I don't have nobody but my mom and my dad. And if you was to give me another chance and I was still to get out young and be able to pursue my music career, I promise you that you won't regret it. And I just want to let you know that.
Now, I don't know why Kshordy decided to speak to the judge that way, as far as saying what they call him in the jail. You know, that was a bad move. I wish he'd have ran that across a family member or somebody that cared about him, that know a little bit more about the system. Because basically, any leniency he was going to decide to give him at that point was thrown out the window. You know, because it's on record. You know, it's on record that you said I'm this lenient judge, then I show you leniency. Shouldn't have did it. That was a bad move. But ultimately, I think the judge was going to give him what he gave him anyway, to be honest. You know, because that's why most people don't speak up during them situations, because it's not going to sway anything. I think them judges got their mindset before they even approached the bench. Now, the max he was facing on that gun charge, because it was an assault rifle, he was facing 15 years. In case Shorty still has another murder charge that he's facing as well. You know? But it just pains me to always see these situations where you got these kids, Kmart included, but mainly Kshordy, where their life was rough. They made some decisions that they probably not proud of, and you know, their back might have been against the wall. You know, you never know the circumstances that allow those decisions to be made. You understand? And the judge shows no remorse for it. No remorse. And I think that's wrong, yo. And I think all sentencing, I know they got guidelines, but I think that all sentencing need to be subjective to the person. You know, because what you've been through affects your mental and affects your decision making. And Shorty done been through some rough situations, from his man baby getting killed to his girlfriend being murdered, and he was the alleged target. I mean, like, that's hard on a person, yo. You know, I personally went through something like that, and that's hard on a person, yo, and that can change you. So even if he had time, even if he wanted to change beforehand, once that happened, man, that probably affected him. You heard how he talked about his whole family and friends wasn't dealing with him. And it's like, in that situation, see, my situation was different. But in that situation, it's like, can you blame him? Because they was all young at that time. They was all kids. And I'm sure all of them was living with their mothers. You see what I'm saying? Or mother and father. So if I was to know that as a parent, and my kids was hanging with a guy like that, and they told me he needed somewhere to stay, I probably would say the same thing. You know? But as a judge, I think that all those factors should be considered. And more times than not, it does it when you're dealing with black youth. You know what I mean? So, after he made that emotional plea and basically laid it all on the line, this is what the judge said.
Please. All right, so I've obviously I'm very familiar with the facts of this case. I presided over the trial that lasted the entire week of February 6th of 23. I'm familiar with the litigation of the case, the facts of the case, and the law applicable to it. Heard all the testimony and argument today from both sides. One thing that stuck out was, and I don't have to say much at the sentencing hearing, but one thing that stuck out was that I think a couple members of Mr. Poe's family said that you don't get to see how the person really is because I don't get to see them when they're in jail and they come to courts. And that's true to a certain extent. I don't get to see them outside court and how they act outside the criminal justice system. I will note that, though, that sometimes your actions tell everybody who you are, though. He's an individual that was arrested for a shooting incident that pled to aggravated battery as a juvenile. He was arrested for a carjacking incident. The state attorney's office prosecuted the case in juvenile courts. He pled in September of 2017 to those charges. He was released on conditional release in September of 2019. And then the juvenile court terminated his conditional release in late February of 2020. This incident took place, I think, in August of 2020. So a mere 6 months after he was released from court supervision on the juvenile cases. I think that's an important fact to consider why we're here today. Or as Mr. Poe, you were found guilty by jury of your peers for the charge of possession of a firearm by a juvenile delinquent. You are adjudicated guilty of that charge. You're sentenced to 12 years Florida State prison with 546 days credits. You have $518 in court costs. There is a $50 PD application lien.
Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments, man. Do y'all think the judge should have shown Kshordy some leniency because of all the things that he went through in this documented? You know, I'm sure the judge know his history, you know, but more times than often they just treat him like criminals instead of a youth because he's still young, crying out for help. Because that's really what it is. And it pains me, yo, to see him go out like this because y'all hear how the boy talk, man. I think if Kshordy would have had enough time to really grow, I think he could have did some great things. But that's what I always say. The mind is dangerous. Kshordy is more dangerous because of the way he think than him with a gun in his hand. And a lot of times the system recognizes that. So you had these situations where a child know better, because obviously he know better. He wasn't no dummy. You know, he wasn't one of them. He might have just been misled. But when you know better, it seems like to me you get sentenced to worse. It seems like to me, from the visual of it, that when you actually know what you're doing is wrong, you're going to pay the consequences much harder than somebody that don't. But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. Just keep it G News. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, support the movement. And I'm
probably gonna die if I lead a clan. You got your turn and you turned your back. You turned around, ain't no turning back. I can't be the boss, ain't no us in that. I'm bringing bow and I'm bipping with 2 times. I bought the drink and the kid got a coupon. Make 20,000 a neck on a futon. Sitting out, cause my brother in Jumon. Why you telling people you selling fentanyl? Why you telling feds you selling shit at all? Why you telling cops if you about to get it all? I'm already squeezing. You be dreaming about your dreams. I be living out my nightmares. I been missing, I been begging. The other night she was right there. I be lurking with my bros. I be crying with my mom. She be praying to the Lord that I don't turn into a monster. You be dreaming about your dreams. I be living out my nightmares. I been missing Kevin Bates.